For the people staying in concrete jungles, the miles-long barren lands of Rajasthan isn't any less than a happy surprise. The golden city of Jaisalmer welcomes you to the last living fort of the world. The fort of Jaisalmer, founded by King Jaisalmer around 12th century, is majestically standing on Mount Trikut. A fort is living testimony of Bhati rulers and silent poetry carved in yellow sandstone, which gives the finest experience of traditional Rajasthan style architecture. A close proximity, location to Silk Route had given Jaisalmer a good opportunity for economic activities and trade to expand. Thus, these rich economies enhance socio-cultural fabric and provided a better platform for architecture and development of the fort. The fort is divided into two parts, the citadel and lower town. Entering through Akay Gate, one comes upon the main market, known as Manik Chowk. Earlier used as military installments, which included animal stable and armory, is now converted into arrival court, which further expands and widens for the increasing number of tourists every year. The chowk gives a majestic view of the Sonar Killa. Massive gateways, intricately carved jarukhas, chhatris, towers, turrets, ornamented with florals and star crescent patterns that have figures of life. Chowk leads to Ganesh Pole, followed by Suraj, Bhuta and Hawa Pole, giving a glance of textile and handicraft work, showcasing the flair of Rajasthan's colourful culture. The front portion of Suraj Pole is embellished with a toran, with an imposing sun rounded exact in the center. It is correctly called as Suraj Pole, as it gets the first glimpse of the rising sun. Moving forward, the Hawa Pole, or could be as called the last and the most ancient gateway, stand as its pride amongst royal palaces and the court of public audience known as the Dashera Chowk. After passing through a stone pathway along with massive stone wall of fort, delicate stone carving and zarukhas of Dashera Chowk is pleasing surprise to the eyes. The chowk is defined by the King's Palace, Queen's Palace, Prince Palace, Chamunda Temple and the public plaza for festival and gathering. The Dashera Chowk is the focal point of the citadel, at where all the streets meet, the most crowded and lively place in the whole citadel. Dasheris, a very important festival, celebrated in a grand way in Rajasthan, with all its sacrifices and ritual fading into past, leaving its presence in architecture and festivity of streets. The King's Palace and Queen's Palace clearly shows a vast difference. The King's Palace bears numerous windows, jarukhas and terraces, whereas the Queen's Palace has a flat facade filled up with delicate and intricately carved jalis and looks much covered and private as compared to the king's palace. The jalis were used to keep the wall permeable to winds and allow visibility from inside, but also for the privacy of women, as wheel system is tradition for Rajasthani culture. After breathing into the openness of Dashera Chowk, one moves toward the narrow streets. A compact and organic planning of streets creates different vistas and beautiful frames of architecture and activities at different levels of buildings. Ground floors are generally converted into a restaurant or shopping areas. One street leads to a smaller scale chowks and then further narrowed streets of residential areas. These chowks and otas are major active area at all day with different domestic activities and gatherings. Since the compact planning of streets gives less exposed house facades, the central courtyard and terrace becomes the major breathing spaces for houses. This planning helps the entire design climatically, where different projections of facades and height of the building creates shaded streets and cooler environments. Where in the house, courtyard takes the hot air out and jalis and openings of the facade let the cooler air of streets penetrate into the house and keeping it cool throughout the day. While experiencing the inquisitive streets of Jaisalmer, ears turns to the voice of the bell ringing, which lead to another interval of street temples, which are always been an important gathering spaces for a community in Hindu culture. Ratneshwar Mahadev is one such interval where a typical Nagara style of temple, Shikhar, catches the attention. Main feature of the temple is that it has a stone idol of Lord Shiva instead of a Shivling. Temple also reflects the Indo-Persian style of architecture. Capitals of columns and domes engraved in Persian style and walls and domes are engraved with Indian gods and goddess sculpture. Jain temple complex is on the other hand walled temple complex with 6 different intricately carved temples showcasing the richness of Jains in the past. The entrance to the Parshvanath temple is particularly stunning. Temple complex also consisted of Gyan Bhandar, which has old scriptures of Jainism. Dedicated to different Tirthankars, all the temples are built from the golden yellow Jaisalmeri stone and are connected with each other. The temples are dedicated to Chandraprabhu, Rishabdev, Sambhavnath and Parshvanath, which are among the largest and also with the most impressive carvings. The idol of Parshvanath Ji is made up of yellow sandstone which is covered with real pearls. Not only in temples, but also a private residence of Jain merchant shows the rich architecture of that time. Patwo Ki Haveli is one of the best examples of Haveli architecture. These are 5 closely built Havelis built around 18th century. This is the largest Haveli in Jaisalmer and stands in a narrow lane. This Haveli is presently occupied by the government, which uses it for various purposes. The architecture, majestic gateways, patterned arches, around 60 balconies, paintings, mirrorwork, colorful frescoes, murals, sculpted pillars, large corridors, intricate stone carving, and lattice jali friezes will keep you mesmerized. Wealth that came along with trade expansion is also contributed in public amenities like Salem Singh Haveli, a toll plaza of ancient time, and water harvesting tank, the Gadisar Lake. After having glimpses of glorious culture and architecture of city itself, one can move towards the Bada Bagh, which is a witness of fading dynastical rulers. Bada Bagh is situated at a distance of 6 kilometers from Jaisalmer. It is mainly a memorial of Maharaval kings of Jaisalmer. Every king had a separate memorial constructed with carved tablet of their information. The memorials represent the amalgamation of Piliwal Mughal and Rajput style of architecture. The setting of Bada Bagh is dramatically stunning. The chhatris appear to sprout from the very rocks that are built on, and since they are the same color as the landscape around them, also appear like a mirage. Even after attacked number of times by Islamic rulers, Jaisalmer stands still with its glorious past, as very correctly said by Hunter Koch. Drifting through the sun on dry lakes in high desert, the dust devils spin, uplifting earth to brown skies. Before pale grey eyes stands the heart of the Badlands, scorched, blown and barren, but holding hidden life, shaded by tall stone sand.